All right, so if you're in college, you know the deal. You've got this massive urge to get out there, see the world, experience totally new things, but then you look at your bank account. Yeah, that's always the big hurdle, right? Well, today, we're going to break down exactly how you can make it happen anyway. I mean, of course you do. Who doesn't? That idea of just going somewhere new, whether it's across an ocean or just a few states over, it's that feeling of adventure, of freedom. That's the dream. And there's the reality check. You know, a diet of instant noodles doesn't exactly scream international getaway. But what if I told you that you really don't need a ton of cash to have an absolutely incredible trip?
No, seriously, it is 100% possible. In fact, some of the best, most authentic travel stories come from trips done on a shoestring budget. So this isn't about just dreaming. This is the actual playbook. This is how you're going to turn those ideas into real plans. Let's get into it.
So here's our game plan. We've got 5 main things to cover. First, how to plan your trip so you save money from the very start. Then, where to sleep without breaking the bank. Third, getting around for cheap. Fourth, and this is a big one, eating well on a budget. And finally, some pro-level secrets to make every single dollar count. Okay, first up, the plan. Honestly, this is the most important part. Get this right and everything else falls into place. A little bit of smart thinking right now is going to save you so much money and headaches later on. And really, it all boils down to 3 simple things. First, do your homework. Know where you're going. Second, you got to set a budget you can actually stick to. And third, maybe the biggest secret of them all, is getting your timing just right. And the best part is, all this info is right at your fingertips. Seriously, just get online. Look for travel blogs from other students, find online forums where you can ask super specific questions, and use sites like Hostelworld not just to book, but to read reviews and figure out what a bed is actually going to cost you. Which brings us to what might be the single biggest money-saving hack in all of travel, going off-peak. Think about it. Paris in April instead of crowded August. Southeast Asia right after the main tourist rush. You get the same amazing destination, but flights are cheaper, rooms are cheaper, and you can actually walk around without being in a massive crowd. It's a total win-win. Okay, you've got your plan. Now, where are you going to sleep? Your accommodation can easily be your biggest expense, but it really doesn't have to be. Look, for students, this isn't even a debate. It's hostels all the way. Not only are they way cheaper than a hotel, but they give you something you can't put a price on, a built-in social scene. You'll meet people from all over the world. It's not just a place to sleep, it's part of the adventure itself. And hey, if you're feeling a little more daring, you can go even further. There's Couchsurfing, where you can literally stay with locals for free. Talk about an authentic experience. Or home exchanges. If you have a place of your own, you can swap with someone else. All right, you've got a bed for the night. Now, how are you going to get from point A to point B without spending all your money on cabs? Let's talk about transportation. This chart breaks it down pretty well. When you're in a city, public transit is your absolute best friend. It's cheap, it's efficient, and you get to feel like you actually live there. Pro tip, always look for a weekly or a multi-day pass. It's almost always a better deal. And for those longer trips between cities, check out ride-sharing, especially if you're with friends and can split the cost. And here is a huge reminder. You're a student. Don't forget that. Keep your student ID on you at all times and just ask. Ask everywhere. You'd be amazed how many train and bus companies have student discounts that can save you a ton of cash. Next up, my personal favorite topic, food. Look, eating is a massive part of traveling, and going cheap does not mean missing out on amazing local food. In fact, it usually means finding even better stuff. Okay, if you only remember one thing from this section, make it this one. Any restaurant right next to a huge landmark with a menu in 5 different languages, yeah, that's a tourist trap. It's going to be overpriced and probably not very good. Just walk 3 blocks in literally any direction. Trust me. So where do you go instead? You dive into the local markets, you try the street food. That's where you'll find the most authentic and cheapest meals, guaranteed. And don't forget about that hostel kitchen. You know, making your own breakfast and lunch can save you a ridiculous amount of money over a whole trip. So we've covered where to stay, how to get around, and what to eat. Now it's time for the masterclass, the final hacks that take you from a regular budget traveler to an absolute pro. Okay, here are the next level moves. Sign up for airline newsletters. They run flash sales you won't find anywhere else. Get an official student card like the ISIC. It'll get you discounts on everything. And remember this, so many of the best travel experiences are totally free. Find a free walking tour, look up which days museums have free entry, or just spend an afternoon wandering around a cool neighborhood.
You know, this is a question I hear all the time. People worry that if they're saving money, they're somehow getting a lesser experience, a watered-down version of the trip. Absolutely you can. In fact, I would argue that traveling on a budget is often more authentic. I mean, think about it. When you're on a tight budget, you're forced to travel smarter. You're taking the local bus, not a tour bus. You're eating at that little street food stall, not the fancy restaurant. You're meeting other travelers in a hostel common room. That is the real rich experience. So, at the end of the day, the question isn't if you can afford to travel. It's where are you going to go first? With these tips, the world is way more accessible than you think. So go on, start dreaming, start planning, and get ready for an adventure.